evening, Honorable.
Good evening, Joe. How are you?
I am well. I'm sure you should be well, considering you have had your way so far. The question I've been asking every MP I get to interact with is, how did you consult, how did you conduct your consultations, and what exactly did the people tell you? How did you consult do your consultations in Kibale?
First of all, by the way, this thing, they hype about consultations, it was just a by the way.
What do you mean by the way? Honorable, we gave you people 29 million shillings. That's not a by the way.
Let me just give you a minute. Parliamentary procedures. When a bill is tabled on the floor of Parliament, okay, you are not conducting a referendum. It goes to the relevant committee. The relevant committee opens up, okay, opens up to the members of the public who want to submit evidence, memoranda. But because of this particular one, touching a matter that had been in the public and so much debate about it, in the wisdom of the Speaker, okay, the Speaker didn't make that decision of sending us to consult because it was mandatory. That's the point I'm explaining. He sent us to consult. In her wisdom, she felt, because of the debate, you know, there was a debate even before the bill, in the public, said, go and speak to the people. So, I personally, in my constituency, Kibale East, where I have 4 sub-counties and 1 town council, I had public meetings at every sub-county. Okay? I would put announcements and everybody would come. So you would explain to them the contents of the bill. Fortunately, we went to the consultations when the bill had been presented. So we knew. Now, most people you hear who perhaps are saying people refused, they would not even explain to the people what the bill is about. I want to tell you that whoever explained to the people that this bill is about removing limitations of any nature on somebody to contest, and the power is with the people, people will not reject that.
2 things, Honorable. You said this was a by the way and the Speaker decided last minute. You seem to insinuate that it was not that relevant for you to consult the people of Kibale East.
The point I was
let me come to you, let you know about this, but it's not a very big deal. After all, it's going to be my discretion.
The point I was explaining to you is parliamentary procedure. You get the point? That's why now you cannot hold any member of parliament who didn't consult. He didn't break any rule. You get the point? So I was explaining that it was not mandatory. The way we say now we're in Parliament. For you to pass from 2nd reading to 3rd reading, you must take a vote, you must get 2/3 of the people. Isn't that mandatory? So, but anyhow, we consulted. We had consultations, we explained to the people. We could traverse our sub-counties, we had an engagement. But the consultation is not a rally. It's a conversation. You explain to the people, you take their questions, you give their views. And I can tell you, despite there's so much propaganda in the platforms of discussion, members of parliament, you're still voting today, and who are still voting, because from here I'm going to vote. We vote, we're aware of what our constituencies want.
Talking of which, what your constituencies want. You folks in the NRM were under marching orders. Go and look out for the NRM leaders there within, and followed, including yourself. You had these town hall meetings, 100 people thereabout, people that you had with specificity invited. You call on so and so, so and so, pretty much people you knew, and perhaps those you knew belonged to a particular side. And at the end of the meeting, you were giving them transport refunds. What is the guarantee, Honorable, that such a person will not tell you what they think you want to hear?
Those are narratives which are wrong.
But we covered you, Honorable. We had reporters following you and the others.
Yes, of course. Did you know I put the announcements all over the radio? Did you see any?
So why is it that only about 100 people would come for those town hall meetings? And for some of your meetings, some people were sent away. We covered that too, Honorable.
From my constituency?
Yours and several others. They are outside. The outside are saying, you know, we came to tell our MP our views, and we have been sent away that we were not invited.
Let me tell you, Joel, we are not foolish as you think.
Who has said you are foolish, Honorable?
Whatever insinuations, I am voted by the people. You get the point? Nobody can claim to understand their interest than me.
So you understand the interests of the voters
better than whoever insinuates otherwise.
Better than the voters themselves.
We went to our constituencies. We invited for people. You get it? If we wanted rallies, we would never have come back, because you conduct rallies in every village, for your information. So we chose sub-counties and define a consultation. A consultation is a meeting. A consultation is not a rally. At a rally, there's no discussion. You get the point?
But if you're going to consult and discuss with people that you have specifically invited, is that not problematic? Because you're calling out for your quote-unquote friends, people you know,
it's not a
think like you.
No problem. I am an elected leader. A member of parliament transacts business on behalf of the people. He or she uses delegated power. Whatever decisions I take in parliament for the last 10 years, I have not been going for consultation.
Okay, so we've gotten that clearly. You seem to say that at the end of the day it was your discretion.
Yes.
What the people told you was not a very big deal after all.
That's your wrong narrative.
No, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah,
that's
still a wrong narrative. The point I am telling you, whatever I transact business on every day, I don't first go and consult.
All right, let's go.
I have the trust of my voters. And when I go back and I am re-elected, I prove you wrong. It means that when I am voting here, I know the instructions I have from my people.
All right, some of the things that have come through.
If I misrepresent them, I don't get elected.
All right, fair enough. Honorable, one of the things that you folks are pushing through is you want to extend your term of office from 5 years to 7 years. The exculpation I've had some of you give is that you see in the first about 3 years, MPs are trying to get a grip and a grasp of the rules of procedure and all that different stuff. Honorable, what is it that you can do in 7 years that you cannot do in 5 years as a representative?
You see, conversations are simplistic, but doing the actual work, you feel it. The Chinese say, those who know it feel it, and those who feel it know it better. You get it? That's why I say conversations are just simplistic. People, you cannot politic, my brother, all the time. You come to parliament in the first year, okay? The president is forming government. Parliament is indeed starting up. You have work you have saved from the other parliament. Okay? The members of parliament have to grasp.
And that should take 3 years, Honorable? I don't understand that.
Wait a minute. I wish you can get elected and you go to parliament. You get the point. You are inducted for 1 year. Political parties, we are in a political party. Political parties conduct their primaries in the 3rd, 4th year.
But in the meantime, work should go on, Honorable. I don't see why you shouldn't be working.
Yes,
because I sent you to work, I pay you on a monthly basis to work.
Yes, of course, the government has not stopped. Government has not stopped. So if somebody brings a proposal and say, this period doesn't look enough, let's look at the merits of 2 more years. The 2 more years are purely for the electioneering, both for the internal primaries of the party and for the general election. So that you have 5 solid years of real work.
Honorable, let me put it to you.
Yes.
That if you guys are serious legislators, even in 3 years you can do a lot. But if it's a question of politicking, even if by then we gave you a term of 20 years, you can politic for all those 20 years.
You're being hypothetical, so I'm not. And we've done it, and we're saying we can do more. You get it? And we're saying we can do more. The Rwanda you admire here every day, especially you journalists, you really admire. There is no much politicking. They have a term of 7 years. They only campaign for 1 month. 1 month. Here we campaign for...
And you guys want 3 years to campaign. That's what you're telling us.
Not 3 years.
Because you're saying, push it to 7, so that we have about 3-4 years of real work, the rest is politicking.
But that's what it is even up to now. And it eats into the time of real work.
Whose problem is that? Because you see, me as a citizen, at the end of the day, I expect you guys to deliver services. But as an MP, as my MP, if you're going to spend all that time politicking and so on, that's problematic. Then I shouldn't pay you for that time, because you see there's no work done, right?
Just as it is your work to schedule your TV program here, if you feel NEWSNIGHT is at the wrong time, and you put it at the best time you consider prime, so is the work of Parliament, who run the Constitution and feel it, to reorganize what they feel is odd. That's why there is benchmarking. That's why there is adopting best practices in other jurisdictions.
All right, Honorable, you see, truth be told, is that, as you said, there's a lot of work that gets carried forward almost every term. But you see, I'll be very candid with you. The reason that happens is because we have got very lazy MPs, and you're one of the MPs.
You elected them.
The reason I say you guys are lazy, we pay you to work. But you see, you guys will clock in, and it's good now there's an electronic system. You would clock in, be around for 5 minutes, then you run away, and you get paid for the whole session. At the end of the day, there's no members of parliament in the committee meetings, and we are paying you. There's a backlog, and at the end of the day, you're making it my problem. Because I'm going to pay you extra for those 2 years for not working. I'm thinking, no, if you're going to spend 3 years politicking and not working, I shouldn't pay you for those 3 years.
Let me answer you in
Let me
two ways.
pay you for the 3 or 4 years for which you do real work.
Let me answer you in 2 ways. Society gets leaders they deserve.
What does that mean? So you should go there and do a lousy job because there are some few citizens who are lousy?
Hear me, Joel. You get leaders you deserve. Okay? Not all MPs are like that. You get it? So if you have a majority of lousy MPs, you who are not lousy, you who, as long as you people who understand, who are active, you share the leadership and you leave it to the lousy ones, they will be elected.
Well, we know the process, what it's like. What about you to let you go?
No, I must answer you. I must answer you. So, the 2 years you're talking about, there is nothing like extra. After all, Parliament is a continuous process. Even if you had elections after 5 years as it is now, still in the 6th year, you are paying members of Parliament.
So why don't we make it 10 or 20 years then? After all, it's a continuous process. We even get to save time of politicking. We get to save money of elections. Let's make people's terms 20 years each term, and you keep
advance it. You can as well say, let's have no election.
Honorable, this is the final question I'm going to put to you. Of course, you folks are pushing for the removal of the presidential age limit, and that means President Yoweri Museveni is going to be eligible to stand again. I know you've kept running away from the fact that it's not for him. We have had many of you say that, by the way, we're not pretending about this. We want the man on the ballot. I've had Evelyn Anite say, look, my people cannot imagine President Yoweri Museveni not being on this ballot paper.
There are two questions.
You see, for me, what that tells me, Honorable, is that the rest of you in that party are incompetent.
You ask a question, you ask a question, you want to answer it yourself.
No, but I'm still asking the question.
You see?
I'm asking the question.
Yes.
Does that not mean that the rest of you in this, your party, are totally incompetent? You don't have what it takes. There's only one man who can lead this country, and God forbid, if this one man dies,
that should not give you headache.
The party is going to crumble.
That should not give you headache. If you're not a member of NRM, that should not give you headache.
You guys are running the country on my taxes, so I should be concerned.
Don't worry. As long as there are two answers to your question. It is not true the bill is for Museveni. Museveni is not the only Ugandan who is going to be above 75.
Who are the others that
listen to me, please, Joel, please. You invited me here to help you.
Oh, so tell me.
If you had the answers,
I'll tell the viewers.
Okay?
So tell us, Honorable.
Museveni will not be the only person who will be above 75 years.
Who are the others?
And there are many others. My father, Mr. Matayoka Gigi, can be one of them. Only that he doesn't have any qualification, formal qualification. So, but even if they are Ugandans, like the people of Koboko, Storanite, you quote, who say, we want our Museveni. That means in Museveni, they see leadership. That means in Museveni, they see livelihood. And that's a political issue.
Should he train others to be like him? To be able to be that capable leader they see? Because the time is going to come and he will not be around.
We are here. Leadership is not only about presidency. Parliament, Museveni doesn't sit in parliament. Museveni is not in cabinet alone. Museveni is not in the army. We all cannot be presidents. There is one president at a time.
All right. And since you are an MP, let's release you to go and work. Yes. Because we pay you to work. I have to go to Thank you for talking to us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a quick break. NTV Tonight continues shortly.
This is it, this is your time. Time to live, time to shine. Making every second count. That's what life is all about. Let's make the moment last. Grab life and raise your glass. When it comes to friends and fun, then proud you're number one.
Grab life. Bill Lager. Live every moment.
Fire doesn't burn.
The players greeting each other, a fantastic atmosphere. He is something else.
I don't know what you've been told. Believe in growth, growing up. Just keep coming back till we see.
Brilliant, stunning goal!
I can see this, but I think this line comes to us from the oceans.
Upgrade today to GoTV Max at the best price. Upgrade to GoTV Max and catch all the best La Liga games on Super Sports Select 4 on Channel 34. We are GoTV.
Kampala, are you ready for East Africa's ultimate experience? The 6th annual